Chebukati's explanation some.
Right. Sorry for that technical hitch. You were talking about the genesis of 6.5 million registered voters. Just to indicate that Chebukati says that on the night of the election day, that is 26th of October, there were Kim's devices, 33,000, more than 33,000 that had sent their logs that indicated that 6.5 million registered voters had come out to take part in that fresh presidential election. And in those 33,000 stations, there are registered voter population of over 16 million. And so he says that 6.5 million was what was reported by the 33,000 kids. But bearing in mind that they have been saying that more than 37,000 polling stations participated in this election, he says that that is the explanation why there is a difference between that day and now, because now we have more than 7.5 million registered voters. He says that the explanation for the extra 1 million registered voters is because of the increase between from 33,000 registered polling stations to now 37,000, but also it goes ahead to indicate that so far the Kim's devices that have already logged in or that sent in their logs is 36,800, but says that there are some more kits that are yet to do so, but also indicates that there are some registered voters who participated in this election but were not identified using the Kim's devices. Essentially, that would mean that they were identified manually, but there is no indication of how many they were in as far as that goes. But the other question about 48%, because you realize that on 26th of October at about 4 o'clock, he came and told the nation that 48% of registered voters had come out to vote. He explained to say that between 4 to 5 p.m. on the election day, there are 17,564 polling stations that had already sent in their logs. And when I say logs, this is to mean that they had filed how many people had attended the polling stations by that time. So he says out of the 17,000 polling stations, it shows that of the voter population affected in that instance, then 48% had appeared to vote, and that is the explanation that he's giving, because at that time he says that 4.4 million registered voters had participated in the election out of a possible voter turnout, or rather voter population of over 9 million. So that becomes the 48%. Hussein?
Okay, Sam, we also heard him speak, and he said he'll give you that figure later, but still I want to know if you've gotten any info about that figure. I'm talking about the figure of those he says were identified manually and not captured in the system, in the turnout. And then now that you're reporting 265 out of 266 constituencies, still no figures, yet he says 30 minutes ago they cancelled a news conference that was to happen 30 minutes ago, meaning it has to wait until tomorrow. And again, if it's tomorrow, it means declaration could be tomorrow. What happens to these other constituencies that did not vote? Bearing in mind, KCP rehearsals start tomorrow.
Well, let me start with the first question. You're asking of the persons identified through the complementary mechanism. There is a statutory form, that is Form 32A, that is supposed to be signed for persons who are not able to be identified using the Kim's kits. And the Kim's kits is supposed to identify you as a voter biometrically or by searching your alphanumeric details of your ID number, or rather your document of registration, be it an ID or passport. If that fails, then there should be a Form 32A field to indicate that your name, yes, is in the register, but you are not identify using the Kim's kits, and it's supposed to be signed. Every polling station is supposed to receive 20 forms to identify such persons affected. But what we hear from the chairman is that there is no indication of how many people were identified using that mechanism. The other question about the constituencies that have already filed their Form 34B is that the returns from the constituencies. Yes, 265 out of 266 constituencies that participated in this election have already filed their returns at the National Tallying Center. But from the board that is giving the totals, so far we have 264 constituencies updated, with Uhuru Kenyatta having 7.469 million, and then Raila Odinga has 72,832. But of course, you'll understand why that figure is so, is because of his boycotting these elections. So you're asking of the last constituency, that is Fafi constituency. We are told that the form is already at the National Tallying Center, but they will be done with the verification by midnight, and then tomorrow they will be be in a position to declare the results from that form. Now, the last question about the other constituencies that did not participate in this election, the Commission has been meeting to deliberate on what measure to take, but you realize they don't have a lot of time, so they have said that they will be giving an update tomorrow on what the way forward should be, and if it is anything to do with declaration or announcement of the final result, then it should happen tomorrow if they decide that the polling stations, or rather the constituencies affected, the 25 constituencies in the Nyanza region affected, are not to participate in this election. Then you should expect the declaration tomorrow. Hussein.
All right, thank you so much. Sam Gituku joining us live from the Bomas of Kenya, the National Talent Center. Meaning we'll join us, Sam, for more information if nothing happens again.